Number one is this gets back to what we initially talked about with consistency. Do not issue an instruction or a demand that you are unable or unwilling to follow through with pretty quickly. And I call this Charlie Brown teacher phenomenon. So especially, and this is a hard one to do, especially when we're working with littles, because there's a natural, sweet, easygoing way we tend to talk to young children. So it's perfectly natural to issue an instruction, something like, hey buddy, come on over to the table. Come sit down with me. We're gonna do coloring. I know you love coloring. Come on over. Look, I've got this chair just for you. And although that's a really natural way to talk, that was really like 10 instructions in a row that none of them were followed through with. And so I call it Charlie Brown's teacher, because eventually all we sound like to that client is wah, 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 because we're not following through with the expectation that we stated verbally. The best method here, I feel, in order to ensure that we don't become Charlie Brown's teacher, is whatever the instruction is, I issue it once, and then I count to like 3 or 5 in my head, kind of slowly, just to give that. So many of our students need a little bit more processing time. So I'll give the instruction once in a real clear, concise tone, like, come sit down, please. Try again, bud. Come sit down, please. And then I'm going to wait another 3 or 5 count. And then I'm going to give that student whatever prompt he or she needs to follow through with the next step of my session. And basically what that is, that's foundational learning to get our clients attending to us in general. Another trap that can be really easy to fall into and leads typically to more extreme interfering behaviors, we need to be really careful how much attention that we pay to challenging behaviors during our sessions. Now, you or I may perceive something that we do as a negative. Something like, I mean, if one of you were to say to me, I don't like what you just said, don't talk like that. Now, I would perceive that as negative. Like, I want you guys to enjoy this training and to get some information that'll help you long term. So if one of you said that to me, I would for sure change my behavior. I would probably change what I'm talking about or how I'm talking about it. However, even though you or I might perceive that to be negative, some of our students will perceive a verbal correction or physical prompting to be really reinforcing, especially some of our like sensory seeking kids. Sometimes the wrestling match to get that student back to the table or back inside the room where it's safe, the actual physical input of that can be really reinforcing to some students. So the general like pitfall to avoid here is just beware of how much attention that challenging behaviors get.